إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا يا رب العالمين. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blessing. We ask Allah azza wa jalla to grant us beneficial knowledge and to grant us his pleasure in this worldly life and hereafter. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. We'll continue with our the explanation of Riyad As-Saliheen for Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah and other Mashayikh rahmatullahi alayhim wa hafidhahumullah ta'ala. We reached, we still the hadith Abdullah ibn Zubair Abu Khubayb radiallahu anhu, in the hadith that Imam An-Nawawi rahmatullahi alayhi mentioned in the chapter of the commandment for fulfilling the amanat, the trusts. So in the hadith, long hadith, we talked about the fitna last time, like a preparation. We talked about Abdullah ibn Zubayr, and then we talked about fitna that happened between the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum. So tonight we start with the hadith, explaining the hadith when he said that لما وقف الزبير يوم الجمل دعاني فقمت إلى جمل. When Az-Zubayr, his father, he stood up in the day of the Jamal, day of the camel, that as we said, the hadith, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he said, he called me and he said, my son, whoever is killed today will be either a wrongdoer, ظالما, or a wronged one. And I expect that I shall be the wronged one today, the one who is wronged by others today. So when he said here, I'm going to be one wronged, or the one who wrongs others, or the wronged one. So that could be from the rawi, from the narrator of the hadith, that he has a doubt, or could be that there is, in this case today, in the day of the camel, there is no other people other than two categories of people. Either people who wronged others and may be killed in the battle, or people who were wronged by the others because they have ta'weel. They have ta'weel, that they had an interpretation which is an allowed interpretation because this how they. And this is what the case for the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala. So they were in that battle because they had an interpretation which is a permissible interpretation of the situation, how it went. And we explained that. And he said that I don't see myself except a person who is going to be wronged. I'm going to be killed, and Allah knows best. I'm going to be killed and I'm going to be wronged, but I'm not the one who have wronged us. Why? Because he is the Sahabi of the Prophet ﷺ. He did not come to fight in that battle. He didn't come to the fight. He did not incite the fight. He did not have the intention for the fight, but actually he had, as all of the Sahabas, they had an interpretation what was allowed. Because the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, إِذَا الْتَقَى الْمُسْلِمَانِ بِسَيْفَيْهِمَا فَالْقَاتِلُ وَالْمَقْتُولُ فِي النَّارِ. قالوا هذا القاتل ثم المقتول قال إنه كان حريصا على قتل صاحبه. As we know, there's a general hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, if two Muslims, they fight with one another with their swords, in a battle, then the one who kills and the killed one are both in the hellfire. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala, they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, we know for the one who kills. What about the killed one? How is he going to go in the hellfire? And the Prophet ﷺ said, because indeed he was keen to kill his brother. The both of them, they were keen in killing one another. But this is not the case for this battle. This is not the case for this battle. What happened between the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu? Because they were not keen, or they are not inciting one another to kill and to fight one another. They were mutawawwideen. Now they have the interpretation, they have a reason and explanation that they believe they are right in their say that which is permissible in that case. So that's why he said it is going to be killed either zalim, the one who wrongs, or a wronged one, or mazloom. That's why, because the Prophet said, he mentioned that the aggressor party, or the aggressor group is going to kill Ammar, for example, Ammar ibn Yasir radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And this is the case because he's saying that one just before the battlefield. On battlefield, obviously, the person, he thinks that he might be killed on the battlefield. It's not a joke that in front of the enemy. In that case, so that's why he's saying that. And usually, before passing away, a person, even if he's the worst of the people, and at least if he fears something or fears Allah Subhanahu wa Taala a little bit, he would be truthful to himself. That's the normal. What about the Sahabi radiallahu ta'ala anhu? He now, the person who is talking about that's before he passing away. Now, when he said that, this is Sahabi, what? Mubashar bil Jannah. Zubair ibn Awam and Abdullah ibn Zubair is talking about his father. He is given the glad tidings of being from the people of the Jannah, paradise. And what did he say to his son? He said, وَإِنَّ مِنْ أَكْبَرِ هَمِّي لَدَيْنِي. Indeed, my biggest concern for me now is what? My debt. The biggest concern for me is my debt. And that's a point that Imam Nawawi brought that for this reason in the hadith. Why he says now? Because it is a moment, as we said, he might think that he might be killed in this battle. So this is my biggest concern for me. This happens with the people who are living hearts. The heart is living. It's not dead. People who care about what they're leaving behind. People who care if they took, especially if they know that how dangerous is the debt. If you take it, you die before paying the debt. So this person, this Sahabi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was scared of that because he's going to be responsible in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he wants to protect that before he passed away, because he took the money of the people. So, and then he gave that to his son Abdullah ibn Zubayr. He said, أَفَتَرَى دَيْنَنَا يَبْقَى مِنْ مَالِنَا شَيْءٍ. Yani, after we pay our debt, do you think that is gonna remain anything after that? It's gonna remain anything for you? The debt that Zubair had, he was so huge. It reached 2.5 million. 2 million, around 2.5 million, 2,200,000. And that it was not because Zubair ibn Awam, as we mentioned before, it not because he was used to take money of the people, or because he was in need of that, like some people they do. They take the money of the people off of this business here, and that's better. They take money from the government many times, and then I'm going to pay back, and that's it. Government that take the money, but rather the people. What they do for the people, they take this money and then doesn't care. He loses the money of the people and doesn't care. No, as Zubair ibn Awam radiallahu ta'ala, he was not. This is the reason why he took. But as Zubair ibn Awam, he was trustworthy. People used to trust him so much, as the Prophet ﷺ used to keep the money, the wealth, and the treasures of the Quraysh. The same thing as Zubair used to keep the money as deposits. People they used to live with him, and they used to trust him so much. He was well known for that. He used even to keep the money of Uthman ibn Affan, and as we know, Uthman ibn Affan was the richest in the Medina, radiallahu ta'ala, and he doesn't lose the money of the people. But because of his taqwa and righteousness, he wants to pay back. People leave it as deposit. He says that this is a deposit. Just take care, or keep them, save it for me whenever I need. He used to say, no, this is qard. I'm going to take it from you as a loan. You loan it to me. Why is that reason? We have talked about in the chapter of transactions. Because if a person gives you $100,000 or even $1,000 and said, this is amana, this is a trust, please keep it from me, I'm traveling. So when I come back, you can give it to me, for example. Give it to you. That happens to be, and then you put it in a place where usually you keep your money to. And you don't leave it outside somewhere where somebody can come. You put it in a house. Happen to be your house is stolen, and this money is gone. Now, if he put it as an amana, trust, and you did not neglect it because you put it in a safeguarding the money in the way that normally is safeguarded. Whatever, where you put for yourself. And the money happened to be stolen. In this case, if it's an amana trust, you don't have to pay it back. That's it. But if you took it as a qard, as a loan, you have to pay it back because loan is guaranteed. From the very moment they took the money, this is a loan from you. It's guaranteed. You have, doesn't matter if it's stolen or not, you have to guarantee the money. So look, he doesn't want to have that something happen. He doesn't want to be blamed from the people. And you know, people talk. And they say, even if you are the best of the people, oh look, he's getting his money, he's becoming rich. And they look at your cars and you're saying things and how nowadays, and look at the houses and everything, whatever you have and you had in those days, and say they just want to talk. So he just doesn't want to get blamed for that. Said, give it me as a loan. Give me as a loan. That's it. The same case, for example, the money that you put in the bank. Money that you put in the bank. That is, in Arabic, is called al-wadi'a, deposit. You deposited it. Checking bank, for example. Checking bank account. Some of the scholars have said, oh, this is wadi'a. The name is wadi'a, deposit. But in reality, it's not a deposit. Why? Because bank guarantees you. Supposedly they guarantee you. I don't want to talk about other stuff, especially what's happening nowadays. Allahu Alam. But they say they guarantee you. But so if they take it as a deposit, they aren't supposed to guarantee you. Yes, because we said deposit, amana, and took it there. But because you leave it there, that's why they loan it to others with interest. They don't keep your money there. Don't think you're keeping money there. That's why the financial crisis happened. Because from $1, there are $10 born out of thin air. It's just like that. So if all the people, they agree to take their money in one moment, the system will all collapse in one night. That's it. If everybody agrees to take the money in one night and go in the bank, because they don't have it. They already gave, just keep a little bit, small percentage of that. So I said that what you put in the bank is called, by name, it's called deposit, but normally it's not considered deposit. It's a qard or a loan. You gave it, mashallah, you gave it to the bank, qard hasan. Banks are poor, they don't have money. So we, the rich guys, we put the money in the bank, and the bank becomes poorer, richer, because they gave the money to the others. This is how the system works. Subhanallah, Allah, it's crazy. Get that money. Why put it? What's the reason for? And invest it yourself and give it to the others. You want to give qard hasan, give to a poor. Why do you give to the bank? Bank gets its qard hasan. This is how it gives. Doesn't pay you anything. If he pays it, we know it's riba. You don't take it, and it says, oh, you can take it anytime. This is the system where it goes. Allah understand. So this is the case when he used to take this money and to guarantee it as a qard. Then he said that to his son, Ya bunay, bi' ma lana waqti dayn. Oh my son, sell whatever we have and pay my debt from it. He did not tell him, okay, whatever we have, to lose the money of the people. Some people, or like some people nowadays, all the money said, my son, put this in name of your mom. The other one in name of a cousin. The other name, unknown agency, unknown, that's it, company. Just put the names and it's gone. There is no money left. No, because he fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He fears Allah azza wa jalla. So he said, take and sell whatever is left, and then وَأَوْصَى بِالثُّلُثِ وَالثُّلُثَهُ لِبُنَيْهِ. Now, normally, as we know, we are, and it's recommended to give up to the third as a wasiyah. Well, we talked about that. That's the. He said the third of the third, you have up to the third to give. That 1/3 of that you're going to give it to your sons, to his grandsons, the sons of Abdullah. to sons of Abdullah ibn Zubayr. They're going to give it to him. Why? Because Abdullah, the son, he was actually, he was his first son, and he was old, around 40 years old. So, and that's why he mentioned that some of the sons of Abdullah are in the age of their uncles, which is the sons of Az-Zubayr. Az-Zubayr, he had 10 kids, 4 wives. And Abdullah, he had 9 sons and 9 daughters at that time. So he used to work with his father. So he worked more than his brothers with them. So that's why he is giving like his sons, and he's giving sons from the wasi, because it is allowed in this case. Why? Because they are not part of the inheritance. They don't get from the inheritance. The sons of the son, the grandson doesn't get from the inheritance. So he gives the grandfather is giving to his grandsons or granddaughters. In this case, 1/3 of the 1/3 is that. فَجَعَلَ يُوصِينِي بِدَيْنِ, and he started giving me advice for his debt again and again. Said, يَا بُنَيْ إِنْ عَجَزْتَ عَنْ شَيْءٍ مِّنْهُ فَاسْتَعِنْ عَلَيْهِ بِمَوْلَاهِ. Oh my son, if you are to find yourself a difficulty to pay my debt, because they don't know how much they have now, to pay my debt, then seek help from my master, Mawlai. Now, the word Mawlai in Arabic language has different meanings. That's why even Abdullah, he didn't understand that. Mawlai means, Mawla, Allah Azza wa Jal, Mawla, the protector, like Wali, Mawla. Or could mean the slave, could mean the master. For example, if a person was a slave, his master is called Mawla. Or the opposite, the slave of the master. So it could be Allah, in this case, Mawla. Allah Azza wa Jalla is our master, ultimate master. Then there is a master of the slave. Even if he freed him, is considered his master. Or the slave of the particular master. So that's why Abdullah, he didn't understand what his father is means in this case. So he said, who is Mawla? He said, Mawlay Allah. Allah, I mean that the one you should seek help from is Allah. Why? Because thiqah, he is certainly believes in Allah subhanahu, he will take care of the debt. Doesn't matter. And he says, Abdullah, after that, he says, Wallahi ما وقعت في كربة من دينه إلا قلت يا مولى الزبير اقضي عنه دينه فيقضي. There was no time that I had a difficulty to pay back his debts, except then I raised my hands, man, and that I make dua to Allah, oh Mawla Zubair, Mawla يعني ولي, Mawla Zubair, اقضي دينه, pay back his debts, and Allah will pay back his debt. SubhanAllah. Allah Azza wa Jal will make it easy for him. قال فقتل الزبير ولم يدع دينارا ودرهم إلا أراضين. Said Zubair radiallahu was killed in that battle, and he did not leave behind any dinar, any dirham, no gold or silver, except Allahumma barik, he left what he left behind. Minha غابة, except like a couple of land or plots. One of these lands was known as Al-Ghaba. Ghaba means like forest. So in Medina, actually, there are two ghabas. One was in the north of Medina, which is this one, closer to the Medina, which is well known even nowadays. And the other one is a little bit further, and that's it, which happened actually. One of the battles is called Ghazwatul Ghaba, the Ghazwa or the battle of the Ghaba or the forest. And then we know the story of Salama ibn al-Aqwa radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So this, what he meant was a piece of land which was closer to the Medina. He did not leave anything except this, one of these lands. وَإِحْدَى عَشْرَ دَارًا بِالْمَدِينَةِ, and 11 houses in the Medina, and 2 houses in Al-Basra, and a house in Kufa, and a house in Egypt. Allahumma barik, mashallah, Allah blessed him with wealth. وإنما كان سبب دينه الذي كان عليه أن الرجل كان يأتيه فيستودعه إياه. And here mentioned now that the reason why the Dane or his debt, that the person would come to him and said, this is as a deposit, I leave it for you. And he would say, no, this is a qard, this is salaf, which is called qard, and he had a debt because I am scared for I can lose it for you. So the people, they used to leave it in that. And he said, then continues the hadith, he said, وَمَا وَلِيَ إِمَارَةً قَطْ وَلَا جِبَايَةً وَلَا شَيْءًا إِلَّا يَكُونُ فِي غَزْوٍ مع رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. He never took a governmental position, like being a governor or something, or taking the revenue office taxes in the income in that time to lead those, or and any other office. But indeed, he said was with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the ghazawat, in the battles. Radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Why he mentioned that? Because he wants to mention how much was the taqwa and the righteousness and the fear from Allah of Zubair radiallahu ta'ala, because he didn't care about the dunya, and Allah has made the dunya to come to him. Radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So whatever the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to assign him, he would do that and would not ask any of these authorities. Why? He mentioned those because otherwise, if he was a governmental position, if he was this, people what? If he takes the money from them, people would blame him because that's he's taken. He's using his authority for this money. He may keep the money and things like that. So, but no. But he said, I was only with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and whatever comes from the ghanimah, from the war booty in those battlefield. And he said, Abdullah, فحسبت ما كان عليه من الدين فوجدته ألفي ألف ومئتي ألف. I counted the debt of him and I found that it was 2,200,000. 2,200,000. Alf in Arabic, number is 1,000, 1,000, meaning multiplied. They said that's 1 million. They don't have million here there, but nowadays they call it billion. But this is alf, and 1,000 multiplied by 1,000, which is 1 million. So 2,200,000. مليونين ومئتي ألف. Now he had this debt. He met with Hakim ibn Hizam. Who is Hakim ibn Hizam? One of the greatest Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hakim ibn Hizam is the uncle of Zubair, the son, which is the cousin. First, the son of the uncle of Zubair. He met Hakim ibn Hizam and he said to him, Ya ibn akhi, kam ala akhi min ad-dayn. Hakim ibn Hizam is old, is 100 years old in this case. Abdullah ibn Zubair is around 40. So he said, Ya ibn akhi, oh, the son of my brother. This is like respectfully. That's how Arabs used to talk. He's not the son of his brother, literally. He's the son of his cousin. But Ya ibn akhi. And Hakim ibn Hizam is old. He's a senior. And he is younger. He's in his 40s. So that's why he called like that. So how much my brother, he mentioned my brother, but actually he's what? His cousin. He said, how much, of respect, how much my brother owes to the people. Kam ala akhi. He said, he didn't want to say the whole money. He said 200,000. Oh, he did not lie in here. It's not considered a lie. Why? And this is not considered a lie because he is informing of a portion of what he has. A portion, what he has. He has 2,200,000. Only a portion is 200. Actually, is a part of it. A portion of what he has. Why? Because he doesn't want to say, if he says like more than that, so how are you going to pay it and not like this? What happened when he said 200,000? Then he become like sad and he said, Subhanallah, Wallahi ma ara amwalakum tas'u hadi. But by Allah, I don't think that your money is going to be enough to pay this. He said 200,000. When he said that, he felt free a little bit now. So he said, do you see if I tell you that he owes 2,200,000? He gives what? The real number. here. Why? Because already understood if for 200,000 is blaming, or that is saying, what about, let me say the whole number. What is that? Then he started thinking about how are we going to pay back that? How are we going to pay back this money? I don't see that you can pay back that money. If you can pay back, ask my help and I'll try to help. What did Abdullah bin Sulaim say? What did he say? Alhamdulillah. Can you please help me and then pay back money? No, he didn't say that. They don't benefit from one another like that. But he mentioned to him, he said, Az-Zubair, he has bought a piece of land, Al-Ghaba, it's named Al-Ghaba, with 270,000. That piece of land was 270,000 for the real estate. Alhamdulillah, real estate is good halal to buy and to invest in it. So he bought that. And there is some places on it, like it's not all the good fertile land. There are some places, there is nothing in it. Like desert, nothing in it. ليس فيها شيء. Now he took that and he sold it. Obviously, there might be inflation at that time. He sold it for 270,000. He sold it for 1,600,000. MashaAllah. Allah bless for that. 1,600,000. Million و600,000. And he did not sell the whole thing. He kept some portion, some plots for himself and in there. Now they want where? They want to meet Abdullah ibn Ja'far. Why? Because Az-Zubair, he owed him 400,000 to him as a dain or a debt. So he took Abdullah ibn Umar, took Hakim ibn Hizam, time to go and meet this man, radiallahu ta'ala, not to tell him, okay, forgive the debt of my father. I said, no. They just wanted to go to him. And normally, just to discuss how could they pay back the debt. When he saw them coming, and Abdullah bin Ja'far was one of the most generous people in Medina, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And really, he was one of the most generous people in Medina. One time, he saw a slave. And in front, it was in the garden. So the slave in front of him there is a dog, and in the garden, and he had a piece of bread. So he saw the dog, the slave, and he gave the piece of bread, a little bit of bread, he gave to the dog. And then he asked Abdullah bin Ja'far, he asked him, Lima taf'alu, why did this? The slave, he said, أستحي أن ينظر إلي ذو عينين ولا أعطيه شيئا. I am ashamed that this dog looks at me, and I don't give anything to him. I'm feel embarrassed and ashamed for that. What did Abdullah bin Ja'far do? He said, أنت حر وهذا بستان لك. You are free, and all of this garden is yours. Look, you did do something for the sake of Allah, even with the dog. The Sheikh mentioned that. Allah will give it to you. هذا بستان لك. Well, look what happened. فاشترى العبد وقال له أنت حر. He bought the slave, obviously, from his master, and he said, you're free. And he gave the bustan. What did the slave said? وقال أشهدك أنه صدق لفقراء المدينة. The slave, he said, I make you witness that I give this bustan, that you gave it to me as sadaqah for the poor of Medina. As soon as he gave it to him, he said to him, wait, what do you want? He said, what is this? What did you do? You have nothing. You just became, because normally when you are a slave, as we mentioned before, in that time, being a slave sometimes was good for some people. They don't know they don't have any profession and everything, because you don't have to worry about your food, your drink, and everything. You just work and you have everything provided. Now you already just become free. Now you have to start your life. You have to have some money, something, start your life. So he said that you don't have anything. How you give that sadaqah to him, to the fuqara Medina? He said, قال إن الله قد أعطاني وأولاني فكرهت أن يراني وفي المدينة فقير. Allahu Akbar. Said Allah Azza wa Jal, He has given to me and He made me free. I am like I dislike, I was not pleased that Allah looks at me and I see any faqir in Medina, any poor in Medina. In that case, Subhanallah. This is the case with the ariqa, or raqiq. This is the case with the slaves in that time. Slaves. What about the free men? That's a generation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them. Now, going back to the story, Abdullah ibn Ja'far, when he saw Abdullah ibn Zubayr coming to him with the two men, which Abdullah ibn Umar and Hakim al-Hizam, he thought he's coming, but just to maybe to discuss the death so I can forgive him or something. Said, جئت تستشفئ بهؤلاء. يعني you came to talk about, like to intercede with these two Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala. Here, look, he said, it's yours. I don't need you to pay back 400,000. I don't need you to pay it back. Here, Abdullah bin said, كنت لا. He said, I don't want. Then he said, هي بنعليك. Yani how much your shoes are worth? Nothing. How much you pretty much? How much your shoes are worth? That's the money you're going to pay back. Basically, give whatever you want. He said no. Then okay, هي في ذمتك إلى يوم القيامة. Yani it's going to be in your neck, meaning that you keep it. Whenever you have it, you're going to pay it back to me. He said no. I said to him, but I will give you a piece of land, a piece of land from the land of Ghada. He said, okay, I accept that. Uhkum bima shi'ta. You judge whatever you want, and which piece you want to give me, just give me. He said, I'm going to give, yes. They agreed, I'm going to give you a piece from the Ghaba. Now, when they went to the Ghaba, look at the end of the story, inshallah, and we conclude with that. When they went to that piece of land, and he said, I give this to you, this piece of land, for 400,000. He said, again, he said, in shi'tum taraktum taraktuha lakum. If you want, I'll leave it for you. He said, no. If you want, just leave me, make me the last person to pay me. Yani pay other people and make me the last person to pay. He said, no. Then choose from me which part you're going to give. So لَكَ مِنْ هَؤُنَا إِلَى هَؤُنَا. And you have from here to there. And he said to him, and actually, in some of the narration, he said, أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَخْلُوَ بِكَ وَلَا يَكُونُ مَعَنَا أَحَدٍ. I want to be with you, and nobody is here. He said, okay, I'm going to give from here to there. So then, okay. He walked in that piece of land. There was nothing in it, huh? Nothing like that. He walked on that piece of land, and he said to his slave, to his servant in there, put me something here, I want to pray in that piece of land. In the worst part of the land. And he started praying. وَأَطَالَ فِي السُّجُودِ. And he made a long sujood. فَلَمَّا فَرَغَ قَالَ يَا غُلَامْ أُحْفُرْ هَا هُنَا بِئْرًا. Said, after he finished the salah, he said, oh, my servant, dig here for a well. Keep digging, well, in the middle of the land, which is desert, this is a very expensive, and it's a treasure to have water in there. There's no water in there. Dig hauna here. And he started digging. SubhanAllah, as soon as he started digging, the water gushed forth. Don't need like 300 feet, no, just the water gushed forth. Abdullah bin Zubayr, when he saw the water, he said, Aqillani, give me this part of land. I will give some other part of land. نفس البشرية, يعني human being, he said, أقلني, يعني give me this to me. I will give some other. فقال إني دعوت ربي ها هنا ولا أقيم. I have made dua to my Lord here, and I'm going to give it to you. قال الآن قيمتها أكثر بكثير. This land, it's worth more than 400,000. Give it to me. He said, this is the situation. We agreed. خلاص. We agreed, and that's it. This is done. And he left that to that. And بقي جزء من الغابة لأبناء الزبير كميراث, and he left the other part or some part of it for as inheritance for the sons of Zubair. And that part actually was the best part of the land that he kept, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And they did not. And nowadays people kill one another for a piece of land. They did not know like having a conflict or something. But alhamdulillah, it's done, it's done. They agreed for that. Everybody was happy. He took his money back, and Allah Azza wa Jalla gave it to him, and he paid his debt, the debt of his father. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. We'll continue inshallah ta'ala the rest of the hadith next time. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the love for the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala in our hearts and the following of their footsteps. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك ويا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا طاعتك اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين يا رب العالمين اللهم انصر إخواننا المظلومين والمستضعفين في كل مكان في غزة وفلسطين وفي كل مكان يذكر اسمك الكريم يا رب العالمين اللهم كن لهم ولا تكن عليهم وانصرهم ولا تنصر عليهم اللهم انكر لهم ولا تنكر عليهم يا أرحم الراحمين ارحمنا برحمتك يا رب العالمين وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وصحبه أجمعين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك جزاكم الله خيرا.